Impact Audio presents Pagan America by John Daniel Davidson. Read for you by Charles Constant. Some say it is impossible to return to the past, but the truth is that there is now nothing before us but the choice between two paths which both return to the past. We can return to some sort of Catholic fellowship, or we can return to some sort of pagan slavery. There is no third road. G.K. Chesterton. Introduction. A New Dark Age. The argument of this book is straightforward. America was founded not just on certain ideals, but on a certain kind of people, a predominantly Christian people, and it depends for its survival on their moral virtue, without which the entire experiment in self-government will unravel. As Christianity fades in America, so too will our system of government, our civil society, and all our rights and freedoms. Without a national culture shaped by the Christian faith, without a majority consensus in favor of traditional Christian morality, America as we know it will come to an end. Instead of free citizens in a republic, we will be slaves in a pagan empire. Perhaps that sounds dramatic, but it is true nevertheless. There is no secular utopia waiting for us in the post-Christian world now coming into being, no future in which we get to retain the advantages and benefits of Christendom without the faith from which they sprang. Western civilization and its accoutrements depend on Christianity, not just in the abstract but in practice. Liberalism relies on a source of vitality that does not originate from it and that it cannot replenish. That source is the Christian faith, in the absence of which we will revert to an older form of civilization, one in which power alone matters and the weak and the vulnerable count for nothing. What awaits us on the other side of Christendom, in other words, is a pagan dark age. Here in the second decade of the 21st century, we can say with some confidence that this dark age has begun. Why would a pagan America mean the advent of a dark age? Because modern paganism will be no less violent and oppressive than the ancient paganism that Christendom cast down. The reason for this has everything to do with what pagans have always believed, then and now. As Liel Leibovitz has written, their beliefs may be distilled to the following principle: nothing is true, everything is permitted. These were the last words, allegedly, of Hassan is-Sabah, the 9th century Arab warlord whose group, the Hashashin, gave us the English word assassins, and his dictum perfectly captures the soul of paganism, illuminated by the idea that no fixed system of belief or set of solid convictions ought to constrain us as we stumble our way through life. The term pagan here is not limited to worshippers of Zeus or Baal, but refers rather to an entire system of belief, which holds that truth is relative and that we are therefore free to ascribe sacred or divine status to the here and now, to things or activities, even to human beings if they're powerful enough, a pharaoh or a Roman emperor. In this way, as the Romans understood, paganism is fundamentally incompatible with the Christian faith, which does not allow for such relativism, but insists on hard definitions of truth and what is and is not sacred and divine. T.S. Eliot made this point in a series of lectures he gave at Cambridge University in 1939 that would later be published as The Idea of a Christian Society. Eliot wrote, "The choice before us is the creation of a new Christian culture and the acceptance of a pagan one." Writing on the eve of the Second World War, Eliot said, "To speak of ourselves as a Christian society, in contrast to that of National Socialist Germany or Communist Russia, is an abuse of terms. We mean only that we have a society in which no one is penalized for the formal profession of Christianity, but we conceal from ourselves the unpleasant knowledge of the real values by which we live." Those values, Eliot argued, did not belong to Christianity but to modern paganism, which he believed was ascendant in both Western democracies and totalitarian states alike. Western democracies held no positive principles aside from liberalism and tolerance. The result was a negative culture, lacking substance that would eventually dissolve and be replaced by a pagan culture that espoused materialism, secularism,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?